new to macrame and feeling a little overwhelmed with all the knots you need to know, don't worry, we have you covered because all you need to know are 3 basic knots of macrame to help you in making the majority of all macrame patterns. Hey there, it's Nicole here and welcome to BOCHIKNOT Macrame. In this tutorial, I will be teaching you the basic macrame knots you need to know when starting your very first macrame project. And these 3 knots are the Lark's head knot, the square knot, and the double half hitch knot. We will be diving a little deeper into these knots, so instead of just showing you how to make all 3 knots, I'm going to be going over some of the variations of these knots too, such as the reverse Lark's head knot, so what you see behind the Lark's head knot, and then also show you a very popular square knot pattern you're going to see in almost all square knot patterns is the alternating square knot. So I'll be going through that so you guys know what that means when you're starting out your very first macrame project. Macrame is very beautiful and versatile, but it can be very intimidating at first. And this is why in this tutorial we will be going over the 3 basic knots of macrame so that you have the foundational base before you start your first macrame project. With these 3 basic macrame knots, you can create many beautiful plant hangers, wall hangings, and much more. Before we get right into it, if you guys are interested in learning more macrame, make sure you click that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you get our latest and greatest tutorials. And with that said, let's get started.
The first knot we're going to go over is the Lark's head knot. Now the cord length that you want to use for this really depends on what kind of pattern you're using and what cord lengths are required, but I'm using a strand of cord at about 100 centimeters long here, folded in half, and I'm going to take it to the back of my dowel on the loop end and then pull the cord ends through. When you're done with the Lark's head knot, you will see that it's mounted onto the object, and you should see on the front a line that runs across, and then on the back you'll see 2 vertical lines on the dowel but without a line running across. The knot at the back is called a reverse Lark's head knot. Now if you just wanted a reverse Lark's head knot, you can make the Lark's head knot and just turn your pattern upside down and you've got your reverse Lark's head knot. Or you can just take your strand of cord and go underneath through the back this time with the loop end at the top and then pulling your cord ends through the same loop. And then voila, you have a reverse Lark's head knot. And that is it with the basic macrame mounting knot. The next knot we're going to make is the square knot. You'll need 4 strands of vertical cords to make 1 square knot. You'll see here that I have 8 vertical strands, which means it is mounted with 4 strands of cord folded in half onto the dowel with Lark's head knots. So I'm going to start off with the very first square knot on the left with the left 4 cords. Take the outer left and right cords as working cords. Start off with a half knot first. Then using the same working cords, make an opposite half knot to finish off this square knot. And if at any time you need to slow down this video because I'm going way too fast, you can toggle and adjust this with the settings button at the bottom right hand corner of this video by adjusting the playback speed. Now we're going to make another square knot with the right 4 cords this time so that I can show you how an alternating square knot pattern is made. So using the same method as we did on the left side, repeat the same square knot on the right side. Now what we mean by an alternating square knot pattern is continuous square knot rows. So here I have a row of 2 square knots. To make an alternating square knot underneath, we're going to take the middle 4 cords, so the 4 cords in between the 2 square knots, and we're going to add a square knot here. This is called an alternating square knot. Now, if you want to continue these alternating square knot rows, underneath now you can make 2 square knots. You're just going to continue alternating the square knots until you have your desired length. So we have 2 square knots underneath, 1 square knot underneath that, and then 2, 1, 2, 1. An alternating square knot is always made in between 2 square knots. Okay, now that we have our square knot down, we're going to go on to our third knot, which is the double half hitch knot. This is probably the hardest knot out of the 3. It is trickier to grasp in the beginning, but I'm going to walk you through different variations and versions of this knot. So to start, we're going to make a horizontal double half hitch knot. The horizontal cord is a separate cord, so we're going to place it horizontally. We're taking the far left cord as the working cord. We're going to make a half hitch knot first, and then we're going to bring the same cord end back through the top and through the loop on the left side to complete the second half hitch knot, which now completes the first double half hitch knot. As you can see, the direction at which your anchor cord is facing is where your row of double half hitch knots is going to go. And in this case, it's horizontally. So once you're complete with a row of double half hitch knots, this is what it looks like. It is the same knot made all the way across. Now you can make this knot horizontally, diagonally, and vertically. I'm going to show you another popular way to make the double half hitch knot pattern, and it is diagonally. So what you would do is you're going to need an anchor cord and some working cords. So my far left cord here is the anchor cord, and as you can see, I'm facing it downward diagonally to the right. We're going to take the cord beside it to the right as our first working cord, and we're going to make a double half hitch knot. As you can see, I started with a half hitch knot first, now completing my second half hitch knot to complete the first double half hitch knot. And now we're going to continue this same pattern downward diagonally all the way to the right. And we have now made a diagonal row of double half hitch knots from left to right. Now to make a vertical double half hitch knot, what I'm going to do this time is use a separate strand of cord as the working cord. And I'm going to use the far left cord as the anchor filler cord, and as you can see, it is a vertical facing cord. The horizontal cord I have here is the working cord, and I'm just going to start off with the very first half hitch knot on the left side. Then taking the same working cord in, we're going to make another half hitch knot to seal the first double half hitch knot. We use the left horizontal cord end to make the first double half hitch knot, and now we're going to use the longer end on the right side to continue with these vertical double half hitch knots from left to right. And there you have it. We have a row of vertical double half hitch knots. And of course, you can add more rows underneath if you like.
Congrats! You guys have now completed Basic Macrame Knots 101. I hope this video has given you a solid foundation for your macrame journey. Remember, practice does make perfect, so don't be afraid to experiment with the knots, combine them together to create new patterns that you haven't seen, or practice the knots over and over again until you've got the hang of it. If you guys want to learn more macrame, make sure you click subscribe to our channel and give this video a big thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. If you guys want more details on how to set up your workstation and the materials you will need to get started on your very first macrame project, you can check out our How to Get Started with Macrame video that I will link up here and also in the video description below. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Congrats, you have... Congrats!